Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we're going to be learning all about jelly beans. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell fact from fiction. Consider this. We tend to think of modern manufacturing as very fast-paced. I, for one, imagine candies like jelly beans being churned out in a matter of minutes, but what if I told you that creating just a single jelly bean from start to finish actually takes 7 to as long as 21 days? What do you think? Could a piece of candy smaller than a grape really require a week or more to manufacture? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is dragée. That's D-R-A-G-E-E. Dragée is the technical classification of a jelly bean and similar bite-sized confections with a hard outer shell. The term applies to almonds coated in sugar, chocolate centers covered in candy, or gel centers encased in a sugar shell. The hard exterior is created through a manufacturing process called panning. During panning, the center ingredients are placed in a rotating metal drum while liquid sugar is continuously sprayed over them. As the drum turns, the sugar dries and forms a uniform, solid layer around the center. The word dragée is rooted in the Latin word tragémata, meaning sweets or spices. Historically, European apothecaries utilized the panning method to coat bitter medicines with sugar, making the treatments a little easier to swallow. This eventually transitioned into the confectionery industry with things like Jordan almonds. Centuries later, confectioners applied this same technique to soft gelatin centers, resulting in modern jelly beans. Today, the mechanical process is still fundamentally the same, utilizing large rotating drums to achieve the signature crunch of the candy shell. Time for your daily high five, our top 5 fun facts about jelly beans. Number 1. The jelly bean is a hybrid of 2 ancient treats, Middle Eastern Turkish delight and European dragée. The soft interior of a jelly bean is the direct descendant of the Turkish delight, originating in the Middle East during the 18th century. Turkish delight is traditionally made of a gel of starch and sugar, flavored with rosewater or citrus, and dusted with powdered sugar. Candy makers in the US wanted to create something with a similar texture that would travel better and last longer without drying out. Instead of that powdered sugar dusting, they sealed the soft center inside a hard shell. The hard outer shell came from the European panning technique developed in the 17th century for coating almonds. This gave a nice contrast in textures and protected the internal moisture. The combination of these candy methods gave us the jelly bean we all know and love today. The earliest documented appearance of this hybrid candy occurred in 1861 during the American Civil War. The Boston confectioner William Shraft urged people to buy his jelly beans to send to Union soldiers. The durable shell prevented the candies from melting during transport to the front lines, making them the perfect practical treat to add to their food rations. Number 2. President Ronald Reagan famously loved jelly beans and kept them all around the White House, but he also sent them to outer space. Ronald Reagan began eating jelly beans in 1967 as a substitute to help him quit smoking pipe tobacco. When he was elected president in 1980, the Herman Goelitz Candy Company supplied the White House with 3.5 tons of red, white, and blue jelly beans for the inauguration. During his presidency, Reagan kept a crystal jar of candy on his desk in the Oval Office and on the cabinet room table. The administration maintained a standing order of 720 bags per month. Of course, this was not just for the president to consume. They were distributed to staff members, visitors, and foreign dignitaries as gifts. The president's love for this new candy reached new heights in 1983 during the flight of the Space Shuttle Challenger. Reagan wanted to give the astronauts a gift of some candy for the mission, prompting NASA engineers to design a specialized zero-gravity dispenser. The dispenser had a baffled design to prevent the candies from floating into sensitive shuttle instrumentation. The astronauts took 25 pounds of jelly beans into space, marking the first time that jelly beans ever left Earth's atmosphere. The photographs of the mission show the astronauts catching the floating candies in their mouths during their downtime. Number 3. Food scientists use gas chromatography to map the chemical makeup of real foods for complex jelly bean flavors like buttered popcorn. Early jelly beans only put the flavor in the outer shell, but the Jelly Belly company created gourmet jelly beans with an innovative technique incorporating flavoring into both the center and the exterior. To mimic complex flavors like buttered popcorn or toasted marshmallow, flavor scientists analyze the target food using a gas chromatograph. This machine heats the food until it releases vapors, then separates and identifies the specific chemical compounds responsible for the aroma. Scientists isolate compounds to build a flavor profile that matches the real food. This precise mapping ensures the candy version shares identical molecular flavor compounds with the source material. Buttered popcorn flavor, for example, introduced in 1989, requires a combination of lactones for a dairy note and pyrazines to replicate the taste of toasted corn. Once the chemical formula is perfected, it's mixed into the starch slurry for the center and the sugar syrup for the outer shell. This meticulous flavor engineering allows companies to go beyond a simple sweet profile and create something savory or other unconventional flavors. Number 4. Sports scientists have engineered specialized jelly beans to serve as energy supplements for endurance athletes. Standard jelly beans are essentially pure carbohydrates which the human body quickly converts into glucose for immediate energy. Recognizing this metabolic benefit, researchers worked with candy manufacturers to develop functional jelly beans specifically for strenuous athletic performance. These modified candies are formulated to include essential electrolytes like sodium and potassium, which athletes lose through sweat during intense exercise. They also contain specific vitamins, including vitamin C to protect muscles against oxidative damage, alongside vitamins B1, B2, and B3 to help the body efficiently burn carbohydrates and fat. These performance beans utilize the same hard shell and soft center structure as traditional jelly beans, making them durable and easy to carry. The sugar shell prevents the candy from melting in the runner's pocket, while the chewable center aids rapid digestion and absorption. Many athletes prefer them over traditional liquid energy gels because the beans allow for more precise control over carbohydrate intake. And our fifth and final fun fact for today: jelly beans can also be a feast for the eyes, as they've been used to make some stunning art. The artist Kristen Cummings has made numerous candy mosaics, even serving as the official artist in residence for the Jelly Belly Candy Company. One of her most famous works is a sweet take on Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night. To build the mosaic, she carefully arranged the candy on a large wooden panel measuring 4 feet by 5 feet. She begins her process by painting directly onto the board to serve as a color guide. Then she uses a special spray adhesive and places about 10 to 12,000 jelly beans one at a time, all by hand. It can take around 50 or 60 hours of painstaking manual labor to finish a single mosaic, and then it's sealed with a clear resin to preserve the masterpiece. Now, if you think artfully arranging 10,000 jelly beans for a mosaic sounds like a lot of work, you're right, but imagine making a stop-motion animation using the candies. In 2011, the singer Kina Grannis released a music video that used 288,000 jelly beans to create a stop-motion animation. It took a crew of about 30 people well over a year to artfully arrange and photograph the jelly beans for the 2,460 frames in the video. And if you want to see what that looked like, I'll put a link in the show notes. Now for some news you can use. Jelly beans can be perfect tools for a little kitchen science experiment with different flavor combos. Think of each jelly bean as a modular unit you can combine with others to build a whole new flavor. Because modern jelly beans feature distinct, chemically accurate flavor profiles, combining 2 or 3 different beans into a single bite creates a perfect culinary synthesis. For example, eating 2 blueberry beans and 1 buttered popcorn bean simultaneously will replicate the taste of a blueberry muffin. Combining 1 lemon, 1 vanilla, and 1 tangerine bean mimics a citrus pound cake. It works beautifully because your brain processes the volatile aromatic compounds of the different beans at the exact same time. The retronasal olfaction blends the chemical profiles together before the signals reach your olfactory bulb. By mixing together different beans in specific ratios, you can construct a complex flavor that candy manufacturers never even dreamed of. It transforms a simple bag of candy into a practical experiment in flavor science, and it's a fun and inexpensive way to expand your palate and try new flavors. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the episode, I asked, could it really take over a week to manufacture a single jelly bean? Believe it or not, that's a fact. Making a jelly bean involves multiple time-consuming stages. First, a hot liquid mixture of corn syrup, sugar, and starch is piped into cornstarch molds to form the center. These molds sit in a heat-controlled drying room for 24 to 48 hours to achieve the proper chewy texture. After the centers are cleaned, they undergo a steam bath and a sugar shower to create a primer coat. That has to rest for another full day. Finally, the panning process adds the colored, flavored outer shell layer by layer, which takes several days of tumbling and resting to ensure the shell hardens properly without cracking. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about jelly beans with me today. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.